Golden Monkey. Did I finish the render rewrite? Well, I only rewrote visibility. I didn't rewrite the rest of the renderer. And yeah, that was basically done. Who are you to say you know better than Uncle Bob? So these islands here were done way back when we used to like manually flag fields in the ocean about whether there was terrain there. And this was kind of an error-prone thing that wasn't a good way to do it in the end. And today, it turned out I wanted to reclaim one of the bits in the ocean bit field anyway. So I am going through all the levels that I know are done this way. Oh, and also the thing about doing it this way is we can actually mark materials on these different land masses. Why is that not? We can mark materials on the different land masses. Right. So I'm just gonna do a thing where I just very tediously by hand go through these levels and do the thing. This is game development sometimes. Video games. But this is kind of, you know, it's kind of a sign that we're on the down slope part of development, because it's like I remember when I did this and I have fond memories of it, and that time is soon to be gone. It's like in The Witness. I mean, we're a little bit later in development than the equivalent thing in The Witness, where the terrain in The Witness was originally like just like a interpolated spline surface. And I even did a little bit of like, it wasn't really research, but you know, the way that we did it was I don't think people in games really knew about. And so like I did a whole thing where I figured that out, and then we eventually didn't ship that because it's not how the ground worked in the end, because we just wanted people to be able to make arbitrary meshes. Did I just want to double check these every time. Hold on, I didn't double check with the button. So also, after all these are done, I'm going to check in the code change from the other machine that involves no longer paying attention to this bit field And then we'll run the Benny test on just these levels and make sure that they still work. Because of Windows, we just closed the web browser. That's great. Thanks, Windows. That was great. Okay. I'm going to try doing it by minimizing camera moves and just like scanning out what I can scan from the current position and then moving the camera. Now I might make more mistakes this way, I don't know. It's like a dot matrix printer. I'm going down the lines. Oop. Oop. I don't know why. I don't know why I swallowed a fly. Okay. I am suffocating the beauty of nature with my oppressive cubes. Yes. Yes, I am. That is why the indie game developers don't like me. It's also why they don't like Notch. It's definitely the cubes. Definitely the cubes, not any other reason. Well, everybody, if you want to succeed in the games industry, this is how you do it. Also, don't miss that thing there. Seriously, this is how you do it. Made a game that does not have notches in it because everything is a cube. Well, they could be cube-sized notches. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand. I guess I hit, when that happens, it's like I hit some, I aimed for a cube, because that's how you start, by attaching to the thing, and I hit something else. All right, well. All right. Yeah, by the way, Casey, your thing about, that you posted about Ron Gilbert today on the internet, I mean, good for you, but it's completely useless, dude. Like, nobody making any of these comments has any idea even how hard it is to make a bad game with tools made for you by John Riccatello, right? Like, these people have no fucking idea. Much less what it was like to fucking make something that's cross-platform to several 1980s home computers. They just have no concept of what that would fucking even mean. I agree it's important to show solidarity, but it's also like, these people are stupid. And I mean, I empathize because I was stupid at one point. Nevertheless, they persist. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that you had a system that ran cross-platform on fucking home computers is nearly mind-blowing, given the limitations of the time. Like, I mean, I understand how to do it. I could go back in time and do it just fine. But, like, I have the benefit of hindsight of living in the year 2022, right? Like, someone who does not have that benefit may not, yeah. What are the white boxes for? Every one of them, if you pay 99 cents, you can open one of the white boxes and there might be nothing inside. It's the new revenue model for the game. We stole it from Japan. Dude, I'm like halfway through. No, not transaction log. Wrong thing. Did I bother making it generate a custom mesh? Yes, I did. I mean, what I actually do, it's not a totally optimal mesh, but I just detect interior cubes, right? And those just don't go into the mesh. And then I think I probably don't generate faces that border interior cubes, right? Something like that. I don't know. But it doesn't matter that much because these meshes do not even exist in the runtime of the game that people who hate Ron Gilbert know about. In that part of the game, these are not ever rendered. Like, it's just a bunch of people who all they know how to do is stuff Cheetos in their mouths. It's like, we just can't listen to those people. They don't know how to blow out their tone mapping to incredible levels. Dang it, dude. I missed. Bro! What is going on with that tone mapper? I said, blinded by the harsh yellow orange glare of the Cheeto meal. Yes. Oh, Peter Molyneux. Oh, this one's going to be annoying. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. This is fine. I actually had a conversation with Peter Molyneux once. I don't remember what it was about. It was not a long conversation. Okay, did I totally destroy? I think I did totally destroy these. So we just put them back. That's all we do. Boop. 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 Easy clap. No, not transaction log. A giant Cheez-It chalupa. I'm not surprised. This is the new food for the new America. Something Christo would do? Wait, who's Christo? Do I not know something about the world? I feel like no, I didn't miss. Thought I missed that one. Oh, this one's already done. Nice, because I think we took out the control for how to... Oh, okay. I guess we redesigned all those. Okay. There's our displacement map in water. Okay. goes around white sheets. Well, can I do that? Can I buy white sheets and do that? Wait, what? I guess that's the last one. It's the last one. Okay. Now, I'll check in the code changes from elsewhere. If there's not a no check-in. There is. All right. Stop using the low bit in ocean value to represent ocean present, as we haven't wanted that for a while. Mirror aisles will be broken until we test and check that in. Also, some number of other levels might break, TBD. Of other very old levels might break. Okay, so, dude, I just want to press the button on the trackpad. Holy fuck. I just have to get a mouse out. Laptops are so bad. I don't know how anybody ever uses them. They're just like... Is the thing with laptops that everybody's just embarrassed that they don't know anything about computers, so they don't want to say anything about how bad their laptop is? That it's like barely fucking usable? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Tell the guy to push the Whopper button. I need to push the Whopper button. It's very aggravating to sit here and listen to someone in chat tell me what I should do with my life. So if I ban you, no big deal. All right, so let me get another sody pop while this is going. People have gotten used to computers being terrible by now. I mean, I do feel like that's true, but I also feel like when you can't even like press a button, things have just gotten really bad. You know? Or gameplay of adventure. I mean, I support praying to the baby Jesus. I support that. All right, so now people are coming on and telling me no audio. Everybody thinks that it's my problem that computers don't work. Why are you blaming this shit on me? God damn it. It's kicking me to the overworld. See, I just want to do all these. Stop kicking me to the overworld. Please. I think it's going to go here now. Just like Neo, I will destroy the machines. But Neo didn't destroy the machines, dude. Didn't you watch Matrix 4? Where he's a world famous game designer? I don't remember where it's supposed to go from here. Oh, yeah. I'm just testing the levels. That's all I'm doing. We're going to do a full game Benny test in a minute. I just wanted to run through this. Why don't I make a release build while I'm waiting? Found a gnarly ass memory leak, by the way. That was good times. We were leaking a gigabyte per minute due to a mistake that I done made. I done made a mistake. Is the cubes a secret thing? Okay, so Casey, way back when I started making this game, it was a 2D game, as you may have seen screenshots of back in the day. And I knew some levels were going to have oceans, and then it's like, okay, I want them to be represented compactly. So we'll use like a byte per square, and that byte will say things like, does that square have water? If it has water, what's the flow direction, and is it fast or slow, and whatever. And there's like a little bit of extra bit, right? I knew that I had wanted to make it 3D eventually, but like, I don't know, it just didn't. I was just getting it going, right? And so, did I even do those? Are those new? Hold on, I got to go back in there. So anyway, there's like this ocean editing system. Let me show you, right? There's this ocean editing system where you pop up the ocean panel. Oh, this doesn't even use it because this isn't a real ocean right here. Anyway, if this were, okay, the overworld has a real ocean. Or how about, I don't know, something that's not going to kill my frame rate in the debug build where I currently am. I don't know. Anyway, the point being, I'll just do it on the overworld. See, this isn't a real ocean because I actually don't know why that even worked. But so there's this thing, and you can like make rivers that flow a certain direction and whatever. And then there used to be a thing where you would say there's no ocean here off this. And then, but that was a little bit error prone for designing levels. And so at some point I said, you know, since we had to introduce walls and you need to be able to stand on walls for 3D, we'll use those same walls just sunk in the water, and that'll be faster to edit anyway because we have all these tools for like making big fields of them now, which we didn't have back then, right? So that all happened. And I also, you know, originally when I started making the game and we had little 3D walls, which we even used for small levels to like put barriers in the middle of the level, they were individual cubes. And as levels got big, that was like impractical. And it was like, okay, let me make the thing that's like a 3D volume of bits, and each bit represents presence or absence of the cube, etc. So all that happened, and then it made more sense to do it this way. But those levels that I just ran through were so old that they still work the old way, and I just maintained that functionality the whole time. But I want that bit back now because I'm doing other stuff with rivers, and that bit in the bit field per ocean square is now wasted, except for those levels and maybe a few other ones. So I was going and switching them over. So now we can repurpose the bit. Also, for 99 cents, you can open each cube and there might be nothing inside. Okay, why don't I make one of these games where half the time when you open the prize box, because you'll get sued if the prize box isn't worth anything, right? But half the time when you open the prize box, it takes a screenshot of you opening the prize box with your specific character. It makes that an NFT and it gives you the NFT, right? So then that's actually worth something, quote unquote, and you won't get sued. How's it going, everybody? Hope you've all got something interesting going on. Now, see, this ostensibly tedious thing that I did to like all these levels in the game, not all, 25 levels. It took about 25 minutes. I know that because the stream's only 45 minutes in. So, like, I don't know. Like, I hear people complain all the time that something would be a lot of work, and you do it, and it's like 25 minutes, is what I'm trying to say. It's like knowing that is a superpower. What if instead you went and created a series of GitHub issues about the problem and then argued with people about the solution? I mean, a lot of people do seem to think that's the better approach, yes. Yeah, a lot of people would be like, oh, I have to program a thing that reads the bit mask out of the ocean and then creates the thing. And yeah, have fun. Have fun getting that to work correctly and debug it in less time than it took me to do that, right? And I actually wonder if all of Skipping Stones has has been converted. I know some of it has. We should visually check because we don't have a working test for it right now. Now there is some threshold at which it becomes better to do the programming, but you know, it may take a while to get there. Looks like I was right about Unity. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it seems obvious. I actually wouldn't be surprised if some of the river maze levels break. Because I did change a lot of the river logic. Unity wipe Thursday. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Unity wipe Thursday. Not a lot of fails so far. Well, we were running 26 to 28 before I made the river changes. I would definitely expect some more after the river changes. I don't know how many more. Guys, I think I have a fever right now. Maybe I have super COVID. I do not have a thermometer, but I definitely feel not the best. I can taste things though. I swear I bought a frickin' thermometer somewhere. Well, I bought one off Amazon toward the beginning of COVID, and then it just like completely failed to work. So I swear I bought like an actual old-fashioned mercury thermometer, but I don't know where it went. Here we go. Here we go. This looks electric though. How does it work? Digital thermometer. Scan with the transparency app. Golden monkeypox. I hope not. I mean, I guess it's better to get golden monkeypox than regular monkeypox. Okay. Does this come with a battery? It It's on. Okay. I got the thermometer. It says 98.6. And yet my forehead feels elevated. I don't know what to do about any of this. I don't know what it means. Diet COVID, maybe. 37. Like I said, I'm not really surprised. And I don't really want to re-record. Okay, the question is, did some of these fail due to river timing? Did some of them fail due to new bugs in the river logic? Or did some of them fail due to the island masking thing that I just did? So Pulse and Pulse 2 are very likely at least timing. I made those levels. Let me try to solve it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to set up. So firstly, we want that to go. And then that's fine. So we go here, we go here, we ride the lightning. Now the deal with this is I want to block the river with the right timing. I don't know, like when I come down here. See that? So this level works. I don't want to actually re-record it. I could have just re-recorded it right there. But, you know, so that level's solvable. Wait, where's Pulse 2? Why isn't it in the same set? Okay, now this one is trickier. It's trickier. Right, so I do one. How do I do this one? I do one. That gets me going. Like, I think I just need a little baby pulse. I don't know how to do this. Oh, you know, I think this requires me to push 2 with 1, which we made illegal. Like, this doesn't push it over anymore. Oh, it does actually still. Oh, because I haven't actually implemented that yet. But yeah, now I'm like, oh my God, all of this didn't really work. Like, wait, what even happened there? So we have this, I do that. That worked better that time. Something about the timing. Like, what the fuck happened there? Okay, so there are obviously river bugs that need to be dealt with before I try to refigure out. Oh, that didn't work either. What the hell, my man, is happening? I feel like I am getting very inconsistent results. Am I going to play Tarkov Wipe? I mean, I'm kind of bored of the cycle, and I haven't even gone to the other map yet. Just because, I resent the manipulativeness of it. With Tarkov, I just can't play Tarkov again for now. Maybe later. It's like they just still haven't. They keep adding stuff, but they don't fix what's broken. And now I know they have an audience that wants them to keep adding stuff, but you need to also fix what's broken. You know? You know? New Call of Duty will have Tarkov mode. Oh. Is it going to be a good Tarkov mode? The problem with Call of Duty Tarkov mode is it's going to be the lame Call of Duty 2 arcadey gameplay, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it is. We'll give it a chance. Didn't Battlefield do a Tarkov mode? Not that I ever saw. Because I have a headache, this might be everything we do tonight. I might want to give my brain a rest. Do I watch The Boys? No, because that show is just more of the same easy crap that everybody does. I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it. just couldn't do it. Anyway, any questions about what I was doing today? The small amount of work that we did today? Or how do you code the variable? That is something I still do not understand to this day. You do have a stupid question. Go for it. What is the stupid question? What is the stupid question? I am all ears. I should read Gravity's Rainbow again. It's been a while since I read it. I thought this game was built more and the world is built out of entities model, but then when I was describing the cube process, it sounds like it's actually partly grid storage. What do you mean by world is built out of entities kind of model? Because it is built out of entities. Okay, I'll say a couple things, and then you can let me know if this answers the question. Okay, so like let's go back to, for example, this level, which is it's just got a couple simple islands, but you know the other ones just had more complicated shapes. No big deal. So each of these, it's an entity, but it's an entity called a wall set, right? And I can move it around, whatever. I can edit it. I could probably rotate it, although I don't know how good of a job we do with that. I can undo it. That's fine. But it's an entity that sort of has like this wall data struct where it knows the corner and dimensions and the bits. And I suppose you could edit that by hand, but like, you know. And then when we load a level, we rasterize all of these. We figure out the 3D bounds of the level and we rasterize these into like a 3D cube for lookup, right? Because that's what you want to do when, like, you want to be able to ask very quickly, during gameplay, is there a wall at these coordinates? And if these entities are constant, then why should you do something slow to ask that question, right? Every square is an entity. Okay, so in the beginning, every square was an entity because that was the easiest thing to implement. But that's really annoying for editing. Like, you actually want to be able to grab this island and move it around, or like, cut part of it off, or whatever. Um, change the color of the island as a unit, right? To purple. So, like, what is the entity is kind of about what is the most convenient for certain sets of things. And then you figure out, okay, what do we need to go fast? Which is usually just entities, right? So for most entity types, we don't sort of compile them into anything, but wall set is the exception. Yeah. But yeah, during runtime, so the mesh for this doesn't even exist. I mean, okay, in this level, it's flagged visible. So it does exist because we haven't put actual visible geometry for the island like the other ones that you've been seeing. But in the actual, for example, the islands that I was doing before, I was flagging it invisible. And then when you load it during gameplay, it doesn't generate a mesh for it. And it basically does not refer to the entity at all after level load for wall sets. For other entity types, it does, because like a rock is sort of just a one by one thing that moves around. So that's just an entity and it's fine, right? These are exactly the kinds of things that nobody in Ron Gilbert's blog can even contemplate. I mean, dude, those people, yeah. I'm just giving up. Like, I kind of do just want to go start like a high quality work monastery somewhere and just like leave the rest of society behind, because I can almost like not even talk to anyone anymore. It's it's rough. It's rough, dude. In the beginning, there was a plan to do automatic AOS to SOA. No, it was more than a plan. I implemented it. It just wasn't very good. It was one of those ideas that sounds good in the beginning, and then you start doing it, and you're like, well, there's enough variation in how I want to do this in different cases and like what I might want that I might as well just make my own data structure. And so the plan became make it easier to do that kind of thing at user level and have it be less of an inconvenience to do that. The GNU monastery? No, this would be the opposite of the fucking GNU monastery. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen GNU libc? That shit set computing back by 20 years. How much am I splitting my time between projects? It depends on what needs attention. So right now I'm doing mostly game stuff for the past week and a half because it was just time to do a bunch of things. Um, and I've done some compiler stuff, but less than usual in the past week and a half. How do you know when to start writing tests? I mean, start writing tests is a very artificial thing. Like in that question, how do you know when to start writing tests? You've already assumed a great deal about what you're doing that seems inappropriate to me. We don't really write tests for the game. There's like 0 tests as such there's the Benny test. So if you're asking me about tests plural, we don't have tests plural. For the compiler, it's different, but that's because the compiler is a very different use case. Yeah, the question you need to ask is, how do I maximize the quality of my software, right? Which hopefully your answer to that does involve a substantial degree of testing, because that's the only way that you know that things work. But like, okay, question number 1, do you need to test something before you ship it? The answer might be yes. The answer might be no. It depends on what you're doing. So, for example, we have a content team. If stuff breaks for the content team, if stuff breaks in the playtest build and we don't notice, those things are bad, right? So we want some degree of testing. But we're limited in what we can do because of the nature of the application, right? For lots of programs, why would you test it until you're ready to ship? I mean, if it's crashing all the time when you try to use it, you've already tested it and you found the bugs. So why don't you fucking fix the bug, right? And redesign the system to not have that bug anymore. So it's really like, yeah, I don't know. Like, a lot of these things don't make sense to me. A lot of the things people say about how you're supposed to test software. Is a compile time assertion a test? Yeah, I would count that as a test. I guess if you do count that as a test, then we have a bunch of compile time assertions in the game. Sure. It's sort of a test of a different thing than a runtime test. How are bugs supposed to be removed? You're working on the program, it crashes or computes an incorrect result. You open the debugger and find out why, and you fix the bug. And you do that over and over and over and over and over until you're done. Now, tests help verify that you fixed the bug, okay? But like, that's only useful if it's a bug that's likely to be difficult to know if it's gone, which for some bugs, that is the case. It's difficult to know if they're gone, but a lot of those are also difficult to test. Some bugs, it's trivial to know if they're gone, right? And so writing tests for those is a waste of time unless you think those bugs are likely to recur, which usually they won't. So, but it depends. This is the thing. You need experience probably to tell the difference between these things. And a noob off the street, he just got out of the San Francisco homeless shelter and started working at Google, probably doesn't know. And so something like TDD sounds good. By the way, the All In podcast today, I haven't finished listening to it, but they had a really interesting point about how the kind of stock-based compensation that's given out by a lot of these larger so-called technology companies may no longer be financially viable going forward in an era once QE is done. And that may like tank, because like it's valuable for these companies to compensate people in stock because they can sort of cheat on their earnings reports with it in certain ways that I didn't know about. So that may just like tank programmer salaries. It's probably not all the way back to something reasonable, but like you may see a change this year. It was interesting viewpoint that I hadn't heard. And I think programmer salaries need to go down because, I mean, highly skilled programmers should make millions of dollars a year, or however much value they create, they should make that. But like, dudes who are like barely doing anything should not make $400,000 a year. That's bullshit. Are programmers in games paid reasonably? They are these days, yeah. I mean, in the US. In Europe, I think you're still treated like a peasant. But in the US, you get treated well. I said because of QE. Well, QE, okay. Here's the whole thing. I will try to summarize. You can go listen to the most recent episode of the All In podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And they explain it. But it's something like the following, okay? When you give out stock-based compensation to your employees, right, you're essentially printing stock, right? The number of shares goes up. So you're diluting all your existing shareholders, which if you're a public company, that's all the people who bought your stock, right? How much are you diluting them by? Well, the standard has become about 4% a year, which seems alarmingly high, right? That's like if you hold this stock, you're suffering 4% inflation, right? But it's been offset by the fact that these stocks are generally going up by quite a lot more than 4%. So people are willing to take that 4% dilution as part of the company's, way that they do business, right? Well, we're now in an environment where what people think is a reasonable PE has plummeted tremendously, right? Because inflation rates are higher, and that means like the way that technology companies get valuated, the valuations are much lower. So that 4% dilution is much less tolerable now, right? If you don't think that things are going to increase in value at the same rate. And in fact, if you only think, like if inflation is 10% and you think this stock might appreciate at 14% or whatever, I mean, it's multiplicative math, so it doesn't quite come out this way, but like just for the sake of argument, then if you subtract that 4% dilution, you're back down to zero, and then why should anybody buy the stock, right? So they were saying there's going to be a lot of pressure put back on this kind of stock dilution now due to stock-based compensation. Problem used to be way worse too back in the Microsoft heyday. They actually closed some loopholes that used to make it a tax dodge as well. Yeah. I think there is still some kind of a tax dodge. I didn't follow all of the things that they were saying about stock-based compensation, but it's definitely a thing where you get to not add it to expenses in a weird way, even though it's obviously an expense, right? So like, yeah. Anyway, you can listen to the podcast for more details. I said because of QE. Yeah, because QE raised inflation, and inflation is tied to technology stock valuations very much more than it's tied to the valuations of other stocks, because the values of technology stocks are, and I might get this a little bit wrong because I'm not a finance guy, right? But like, okay, like the value of a stock of like a non-technology company, like, I don't know, this thing makes steel beams if we do that in America anymore, right? It's not really a growth industry, right? It's sort of value. It's like, look, this company has a certain, it's got a certain burn rate. It makes profit because it's making more money than it's, you know, than it's burning. So if you own the stock, you get a share of the dividends that are paid out or whatever, right? A technology company, so-called, and we use the word technology very lightly. I'm just using it so you know what we're talking about, is valued based on the fact that it's still going to grow a lot and take over a much larger portion of the economy than it currently does, right? And so there's a big component of future built into all of these. And the problem with that is that, now here's the part where I get a little bit fuzzy on it, right? If inflation rates are high, there's actually two different components of it, which is where I get confused. One of them has to do with inflation being high, and that's bad for a particular reason. And one of them has to do with Fed rates being high, right? Which is a totally different number than inflation, but it's like money has more competitive places to go than technology stocks, right? Anyway, I should go refresh on exactly how those things put pressure on technology company valuations. But the end result of both of those factors is why a lot of so-called technology stocks have tanked 80% in the past 6 months or whatever, right? Because their future-oriented valuations have been drastically marked down due to these effects. But the other thing I was saying about QE though, so hold on, because I kind of meant two things. So one thing is we're suffering inflation now in part because of QE. Well, in part because of the long-standing QE that happened in the steady state, and in part because of the extra turbo boost that we gave it during COVID, right? Like I think even without COVID, that was going to come home to roost eventually. But during the QE period, there's just a lot of fucking dollars materializing, and where do those go? They go into things like stock prices, right? They go into, well, and it's a feedback loop because they go into things that promise high returns, and then because all that QE money goes into the stock price and the stock price goes up, people see that it's generating high returns, and so it's validated, and more of the new money goes in there, right? So it's like easier to be a growth stock during QE times than not during QE times, because during QE times, there's this increasing amount of money just being put into stock prices, into raising stock prices. So Casey says, basically with stock options, you can treat them as capital gains instead of regular income, which dramatically reduce the effective tax rate on the compensation. Yeah, well, that's from the employee's perspective. But there's also a bunch of stuff like from the company's perspective that's kind of shady. But yeah, I agree that doesn't make sense. It's weird though, because it is kind of capital gains, because like, I don't know. But like, obviously it's not also. It's like, how do you legally draw that line in a clear way? Anyway, guys, I don't remember what the whole point behind all that was. Usually growth companies have a lot of debts. Now you have to pay more interest for the loans. This lowers the future earnings. Um, yeah. Well, that also might. I mean, like companies that are already public tend to have a lot of debt, right? Companies that aren't public yet tend to be VC funded, which that money tends to come from institutions, but maybe a lot of that money supply is like borrowed to lever up. And then yeah, if it's borrowed, you have to pay back a lot more as well. I don't have a clear picture of like where VC fund cash comes from. Inflation is easing their debt. No, but if somebody is lending you new money, um, they definitely need to charge more for it, right? I don't know. It's also a thing where a company can treat the difference between the stock option price and the share price as a loss, which reduces their taxes, but that loss is not reported the same on earnings reports as salaries. Yeah. Nobody could write that book because you're pretty sure no one knows. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, dude, as soon as you start talking about derivatives, who the fuck knows what's going on, right? Maybe it's too short a time period to judge, but I don't feel like the US has become more prosperous since around, for example, the 2008 crisis. Like, I don't feel like we're necessarily doing any better than we were in 2008. Now, that said, I have a particularly biased viewpoint because 2008 is the first year when I made a chunk of money. And nowadays, I'm still putting all my money into the companies, the same as I was back then. But like like 14 years, if we've really kind of done nothing for 14 years, that's starting to be a long time. That's like appreciable portion of people's lives. Partial derivatives, what's with those at signs? Dude, we need to make a new partial derivative that uses like emojis for the D's. Dude, there's a store here 2 blocks from where I live now that sells lamps like this. They sell the cool ceiling hanging ones and all sorts of fun stuff. iPhone revolution was after 2008. I mean, they demoed the iPhone in 2007. I think it was released in 2007. Now, I do think it's true that so mobile phones got a lot faster in that period. We don't really use them for anything that needs all the CPU, though. The cameras are a lot better. And we use them for like food delivery apps and stuff. We also use them to destroy everybody's romantic life and make them miserable. So I don't know if that's a net plus. Maybe the iPhone revolution explains why nothing got done for 14 years. That could be. Could be. What is my thought process when I have to choose what type of game I will make? I make what I think is going to be interesting. And I think gameplay of adventure is pretty interesting. Actually, when I try to figure out what game to make, I call PricewaterhouseCoopers Game Development Consultancy Division. I tell them what demographics I wish to target. And they tell me a genre, a game title, and what style of shoes the main character should be wearing, and then I build it out from there. It's pretty easy once you get that. Did I ever make a game in pure assembly? Not really. I mean, actually, I think I did. I think Super Deformed Pac-Man was in assembly. Gartner Research, hell yeah. Does Gartner still publish their thing? Gartner Hype Cycle 2022. Strategic Technology Trends for 2022. Data Fabric. Autonomic systems, decision intelligence, composable applications. Privacy enhancing computation, cybersecurity mesh. Okay, where's the... Do they have the graph? Where's the graph? Where's the graph? Is it in the deck here? Out. Maybe because of COVID, they couldn't put in enough hours to make the graph, so they just made this slide. Like what? I'm on this page. There's no way to get off the page. I'm clicking. I have to click back. I can't even... Oh, it's a new window. I want to see what the icons are for all these composable applications. Like people never like, didn't Unix have composable applications? Data Fabric sounds like something from Deus Ex 5. Top strategic technology trends. So is this ranked by importance? Oh, download the ebook. Oh, I have to sign up to download the ebook. Smarter with Gartner. That doesn't even rhyme. I think data fabric is very, very important, obviously. Obviously. Like, what the hell? So if I let that go longer... Wait, what? So the undo seems a little broken, and the particles seem a little broken. So if I let this go an extra square, though... Like, what? I think I'm accidentally... I think I know what that is. like this. No? It looks to me like it's killing the water under the lily for some reason. Which seems bad. Oh, shit. I forgot to test distance in here. Lol. Lol, I love it when I write the function and I forget to, etc. Yeah, that was like what I was seeing was so strange, and now it makes more sense. I'm doing spooky action at a distance accidentally. There we go. Look at that. Look at that little snippet of river going. Still have to work on the rendering so it doesn't pop in one square at a time, but that is fine. That is fine. Is this level unsolvable with current river mechanics? I don't think so. Okay. That's pretty weird right there. So something wrong happens down here to change the direction of this to south instead of west. It's kind of bad. So we might want to debug that. But let me try to figure out how to solve the level. Oh, also the frickin' particles. They don't seem to undo correctly. We have some, one cell per thing in the per square of the ocean. That's like what squares are currently undergoing flow. And that does not seem to respond correctly to undo, which is weird because should do that. And well, I don't know. All right, so the thing is, as soon as I do something like this, the lily pad is going to go and we have to get on it. So like that kind of has to be, we have to do some other setup and then do that, right? I actually don't understand why it's not solvable with just two if it's a timing thing. Like, so I do this, I get my little nub. Oh, so this is too fast. Like, there's another little hole behind me, but it closes too fast, right? So I think I'm supposed to squinch through the other hole. But I don't remember how I make it show up later. Oh, well, I mean, I could do this, right? Hold on, that wasn't the best setup. I do this, I go here. No, not yet, not yet. And then I go there, and then I go. Oh, yeah, easy clap. Easy clap. You would have expected it to deflect again. I mean, it's an interesting question whether it should, but it does not. Okay. So should I try to debug this particle situation? I mean, I should at some point, and the question is, do I do it now or do I take a rest and not get COVID? I'm kind of not in the mood to debug it, but let's try. Let's go to like this is a simple scenario, right? We had a river. We're doing this. It goes okay. Easy clap. We undo. It didn't undo the particles. Why? Why did it undid the ocean changes? Where does this happen? This is even for, I think, a different frickin' particle. Change river particles. Okay. Now the thing is, let's see what that says. Change river. Who does this? Change river particles. It's in river particles. Add flow square. This is slow. We will have to eventually put it in a hash table maybe. But the thing is, if I just throw this into the undo, that's a little bit bad. Because we sort of just like play back the undo when you load a level. And we don't want to do a lot of operations like this. So what do we do for scrapes? We just literally call add scrape. That's horrible as well. Okay. So I could have a bit array do it this way. It's fine. The undo system may play forward or backward many river changes at once, rather than calling change river particles from within the undo system, which may be expensive. We buffer them in this bit array, then apply it later. Okay. Lol. Oh my god, I'm doing all these things. Just to make the game fast for the people. For the people. Okay, so in undo, we're going to do this. That's kind of nutty. Okay. So, when we're going to buffer and undo change, we're going to say buffer is find or create river particles undo change buffer for this entity manager, for this map. That's going to be a simple lookup. And we're going to say set buffer.array it's literally, yes. Okay. So, set bit. Okay, so we do that. All right, well, what is this? Well, we do this like this. manager.river particles undo change buffers if it dot ocean is equal to ocean, return it. Oh yeah, this returns one of these. Otherwise, result is array add to this. Return result, but not yet. Result dot ocean is ocean, and init bit array result dot array with ocean dot, is it num squares? Dot grid dot num squares. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Now, we're just gonna try that out. It's not gonna do anything different yet. Oh boy. A lot of operator equal overloads. We're gonna have to improve that error message. Because this buffer is not equal to null. Buffer is find or create river particles. Oh. Yeah. Did it. Yeah. Bit array. Oh, this is called array. Undeclared identifier, because this is manager dot. Okay, this should not have any different result, because we're not actually looking at the contents of the array. I'm just making sure we don't like assert or something. Oops. Wait, why do we have... Okay. So we go here. We divert the river, that's fine. I undo the river diversion, that's fine. Particles are in the wrong place. That's fine because we haven't told the particles to be in the right place yet, right? Even after level restart, they're not in the right place. But now, because level restart actually just rewinds you back and does the ocean changes. So now we actually do the thing that we did all this for. So every frame river particles per frame update call this from, but I mean, where does the spawn particles come from? We'll find where that happens. Anyway, river particles per frame update for manager dot long name. Okay. Clear all bits it.array, but before we do that, we will say for oh, only set. That's what I wanted. I have my special iterator for this. So for only the bits that are set, what do? Well, we say change river particles. Oh, fuck. See, we don't have the position. We want to, like, I kind of hate this thing. I've grown to hate this thing in programming where you have one thing and then, like, you convert this to an index and you call the other thing. But, like, sometimes it also seems like the right thing to type in. Oh, this is vector 3i. Oh. Index to core. Okay, so we're going to do this. It.ocean. It index. Right, and then we're going to say this is a vector 3i pos dot or pos equals let's just say ocean instead of it.ocean. Why? It's only 3 characters less, but we're just going to do it. Pos is ocean.grid.corner we're going to want a vector 3, and this is a vector 3. Pos.x is ocean.grid.corner.x plus I. Pos.y is ocean.grid.corner.y plus j. This is going to be pos.z equals okay, so like that. Whatevs. And then we're going to go get ocean info like we literally only need the direction, but whatever. Really only need the direction. Okay, so change river particles, manager, ocean, frickin' pause, and info. Okay. We're going to literally just make another one. iPause info. Do you have an iPause from Apple? That's a vector 3i. Okay. This is all trash anyway, but we're going to make it better someday. Wanted grid-like, right? Position. Oh, fuck. We want both the float position and the integer position. Are you kidding me? No, we literally... Okay. I hope that wasn't the only caller. Probably wasn't. Dang it. Pause F. I hope that's what it was called. Position. iPause. RP 101. RP is a what? It's a river particles. I don't know, man. Okay, Zappos.com. You can buy shoes at Zappos. If I could rewrite the game code completely, do I think I could cut the code size in half and gain a bit of speed? No. I can rewrite the game code completely. I've rewritten several parts of the game several times. Who do you think you're talking to here? How much lines of code is GAM and library now? It is... oh, well, failed to set the icon, but 215K if you count blank lines and comments. 135K if you don't. And this language, you know, is it's more terse than C++. Like, we don't have header files, first of all. We don't have header files. We have much better generics than C++. So I don't know. You would have to figure out what the equivalent C program is. We don't have any apples to apples comparisons. But the equivalent C or C++ program would be bigger. Probably by at least 20%. Probably by more than that. Am I still cross-compiling to C? No, I haven't done that since, like, fucking before you were born. Okay. Anyway. So now I undo, and the particles didn't change. Oh, because we don't call the per frame, guys. Remember when I said, I don't know where I'm going to call this from? Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I put this array of change buffers on the entity manager when we like have this substruct here. Okay. Where do we call, we must call something in this file, right? Spawn particles river. Oh, that, okay. No, because we just make, yeah, we just make particle entities, which honestly is not really that good of a way to do this. Okay, so, but that's fine because it is always was supposed to be a temporary effect. We're going to replace this with a real effect, but the plumbing I'm putting here about hooking up to the undo system in an efficient way right now will survive, I believe, to the high quality effect, because all we're doing is we're saying compactly which squares changed in a heavy undo. Okay. So in cosmetic only things, I mean, we could do this here, right? River particles per frame update. We'll pass the DT, which we don't really need, but see, I thought I was going to go to bed, and I was just like, let's do the extra thing, right? The line must be drawn here. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Okay, well, you'll note, well, I don't even fucking know what you'll note. We got particles in all kinds of weird places. Oh, it's just, okay, they're offset. The reason they are offset is probably because of some confusion about the grid corner, right? Like the grid corner, you'll see we're offset by 4 in the X and 3 in the Y, and I almost guarantee that that's the corner of this ocean map, right? So the grid corner, no, it's not. Interesting. It's 2, 0. Oh, that's the position of it, I bet. Oh, right, because the function's in frickin' world space position, right? So 2 in the X. Oh, 2, it's -2 in the X, and then the corner is 2. So we're off by frickin' 4. I don't fucking know. Okay. Here we go. That's why it's good to have a level like this that's off 0. Now that said, I kind of don't know why we iterated over all of them. Like when we did the undo, it stamped down river particles into all those places, which means somehow we set those bits, which seems weird. But first, let's make it work. So, I mean, maybe we're generating a bunch of frickin' river changes at startup, which would be, that would be loaded information in the undo system. Let me write this down so I don't forget. Too many river bits set question mark. Okay. Now, why are we off? How is Babby formed? Babby is formed by like the ocean could technically be rotated. Okay, hold on. Like we don't usually like actually do that, but so this set ocean info takes just like a world space position. I mean, I can just go all the way out to float position, right? Fuck it. Fuck it. How do I go? Like, is the position of this thing at the 0? It probably is, right? See off rails. Yep. Ah, the tone mapping. It fucking burns. All right, so X2. Y0Z0. There's that thing I gotta fix. But yeah, okay. So that's when our corner is 0. I'm just reminding myself. Don't worry none. So that's all fine. I think we actually have to subtract the corner. Because if the corner is 2, actually, what is index? Index to coordinates includes the corner, doesn't it? Index mod squares x plus corner dot x. Okay. Why am I even giving it an iPause here? Because we're doing like add flow square. Like, why are we doing it like that? We're just going to make it work. But nevertheless, she persisted. Okay, so boom. Undo. Dang it, it's still off. But wait, now it's just 4 in X and 0 in Y? Or something? I don't... Nope, it's 2 in X and 3 in Y. Why? What the actual fuck? Okay, so rather than make the things match up, sometimes it's better to just deal with the bullshit, right? And the bullshit here is like, why we know what index in the ocean field it is. So like, why are we even doing a conversion, right? So like here, like literally all of this should go away anyway. It's not what we want. So change river particles here. Is going to take index is S32. This is faster anyway because we check one number for equality. Wait, what? What did I frickin' do? Okay. Yeah. This is not good. Okay, this is fine. Sometimes I feel like I don't know how to program. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is a giant bag of peanut M&Ms, peanut butter M&Ms, and I get diabetes. Okay. So the flow squares. Okay. Rare particles undo change buffer. I just blanked on what I was going to do because I started eating M&Ms. And once you start eating M&Ms, it's all gone. I was going to press the Whopper button. Oh. Oh. Okay, what was I doing? I was changing from a vector 3 see, even here, I'm converting from an index to a position to world space. Oh, I should have just done this in this other code. But like, just use the index. Yeah. Sure, I forgot some stuff. Oh no. This might be why. But so I didn't have to look up the entity. Oh, yeah. This is really not good to put in a particle spawn function. we can still use the index to look it up. So, you know, I thought the thing that I was going to do was going to be kind of involved, but I've since gone off and done so many things that I didn't expect to do. It's like I'm going through this maze, and experienced programmers are familiar with this. But this is the kind of thing where if you're not experienced at this, like if you're experienced at it, you know that you just like, you keep seeing new things to do that you didn't realize that you were going to do or whatever. And you just do them and you plow through and it gets done. But if you don't do that, if you like tarry and sort of just like, people are self-sabotaging seemingly a lot of the time. And so if you just like delay because it seems like you shouldn't be doing so much stuff or whatever, this could take a week, what I'm doing right now. Like, most programmers would take at least a week to do what I'm doing right now. Now, that said, sometimes you shouldn't be doing all the stuff. And then it's good to stop yourself, but you kind of need to tune your sense of when am I supposed to be doing all this and when am I not, right? Okay. So now the thing is, we're not setting that new thing. So here we actually have the index as well. All right. So now we need to set this daddy-o. Ocean ID index. All right. So we're going to do this. And we had exactly this. Because we don't add flow squares very often, so we don't mind doing this. But per particle, no. Per particle, no. Okay, I probably still didn't do it right. If you're not good enough, you get lost in the maze. It is true. All right, well, we haven't crashed yet. We're still getting particles in the right place for new stuff. Hey, check it out. In fact, so now we have particles there. And then we're going to do this and get particles there. Okay, and then we're going to undo. Wait, we didn't undo far enough. We want to undo till before we drop the rock. Now we have particles there. And then we undo to before we drop the other rock. And now we have particles there. So it's working. Now I could do all the particles to all the places. Lol. That probably should not be legal, what I just did. But okay. And now if I reset. Bam! Okay. Victory. Victory accomplished. I should probably Benny test this to make sure we don't die. We'll do a little bit of a debug build Benny test. Wow, I ate a lot of junk food today. Holy crap, I'm going to be fat. All right, debug build slow ass frame rate. It's Morbid time. I mean, we're just sort of validating that we didn't totally destroy the universe with those changes. That said, they only affect river levels, which are a minority of levels. It's Morbid time. I mean, I'm just going to probably let this run all the way through in debug mode, which will take quite a while, so we'll probably end the stream before it goes. Any questions on what I did there, or why, or what the heck all that typing was? Did I tie the particle to the river tiles directly? I mean, I don't know what that means. What do you mean by tie the particles to the river tiles directly? What happens is, okay, so we want to spawn particles every frame, and we want to spawn them, you know, evenly across the river tiles. So you sort of pick a random tile per particle. There's two ways you could do it. There's a slow way and the fast way, and I'm doing it kind of the slow way right now, right? The slow way is for each particle you pick a tile and then you pick a position in the tile. And so we just have this array of river tiles, and that makes that straightforward. The fast way is you figure out the number of particles per tile, right? Now, if that's less than one, you maybe have to do something interesting. But you figure out the number of particles per tile, and then you just start at the first tile and you add that number, and then however much greater than one that is, you generate a particle and subtract it off. And the reason that's faster is because you do things at one tile at a time. Which, you know, you're just not zipping around this array. Now, that said, in most levels, that array is very small, so it doesn't really matter. But in some levels, it might be kind of big. I sure ate a lot of junk food. I mean, this is going so far. I don't even know how many river levels we have done. Did I eat a whole deep dish pizza? No, I don't even know where to get deep dish pizza where I live right now. Buy a bunch of pizzas and stick them together. That's an idea. How are the pizza prices? I mean, they're way lower than San Francisco. I mean, I feel like it's working. We maybe have to play some levels to see later on. Does that mean I can't find an $80 pizza anymore? I mean, I'm sure if I offer to pay a place $80, they will give me a pizza for $80. I guarantee that that could happen. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be it. We actually do river particles get reflected in the ocean? I believe not. I mean, we easily could do that. The thing to keep in mind is it's all just a temporary effect right now. So, like, what the final thing is, we'll decide later. Kind of what I'm working on here is just the general system of however we track where the river is, right? Thank you, everybody, for coming by. I'm going to get out of here. Have a good time. Have a party. I'm going to bed. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, people.